So now, as we continue with Stress Awareness Month, I would like to introduce our speaker today, who Ruth and I first met a couple of years ago when we were still recording the Open in Indiana podcast. And it was fascinating to me because while there are a lot of financial advisors out there who can sell you the products that they recommend that you need for, accomplishing the financial goals you want. Ruth wasn't restricted to that she was able to give the best advice for what works for you as an individual and where you want to go and the things that you need to have happen. So as we were planning Stress Awareness Month, I wanted to invite Ruth to talk today about reducing financial stress because I know she's going to have a lot of great information to share with us. So everybody, let's give Ruth a big round of applause. And Ruth, you have the floor.
Thanks so much for having me again, Ryan. It's been a while since I've talked for you guys, right? Unfortunately, I do not have my slideshow. It was giving me a headache, and to reduce my stress, I was like, I'm not using it. So I will be relying on my notes. So if you see me look off camera, don't feel any kind of way. I just want to make sure I stay on task with what I have to say. So feel free to unmute if I ask a question and get involved with the discussion. But before I start, I want to say that I am one of Ryan's customers. I recently hired him to help me with tech. So I can tell you, if you're really stressed about something, he can definitely help you take that stress away. So yeah, just wanted to put in a plug for him because he really hooked me up really good. All right, so without further ado, let's start. So I want to throw out the question to you all. What is financial stress? What do you think is financial stress? Please unmute and let us know what you think is financial stress.
Uncertainty?
Go ahead, Jennifer.
I was going to say living paycheck to paycheck.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say something similarly, wondering if your income is going to cover your expenses, frequently worrying about that.
Okay, anybody else before I read this definition?
What about influxes and bills?
Yeah, those are all financial stressors for sure. So according to the Financial Health Institute, a financial stress is a condition that is the result of financial and or economic events that create anxiety, worry, or a sense of scarcity, and is accompanied by a physiological stress response. So that is their definition. So all of you hit the nail on the head as far as stressors. So what are some of the causes? And you have listed some of them there. One of them, the first one that I have listed is, first of all, the name of this is Reducing Financial Stress as a Business Owner. That is the title of this. So we're going to take it from that standpoint as business owners. So what are some causes of financial stress? Lots of expenses. As a business owner, we can incur so many expenses. And I mean, you have office supplies, you have assistants, you have apps that you have to purchase, platforms, subscriptions, marketing, and the list goes on and on and on. I won't waste time listing all of them, but there are so many, or maybe it's just me, I don't know. There are so many. Anyway, I'm a little stressed talking about it. All right, too many bills. So there's bills and there's expenses, and why I list them separately is because some of those expenses you could probably cut off, but bills are usually things that you have to have. So for instance, Wi-Fi. If you don't pay for your internet, you probably won't be able to do some of the things that you need to do in your business if you rely on internet, right? So that's different. So lots and lots of things that require your money. Rise in prices. That is a real stressor for a lot of people because, supplies that you need for your business, before maybe it costs $5 to get your pack of, I don't know, say pens, just a random thing. Now you need that same pack of pens and it's costing you $10, figure that in. So of course that's a little thing, right? But we're talking about a lot of companies having to spend thousands of dollars more than what they were used to spending on things just because of rise of prices, gas prices. You know, if you have to go see clients, like the Culligan lady has to go out, you know, that gas adds up really quick. How much you have to pay for your gas. So little things like that, well, I don't know why I said little, things like that can really cause a lot of financial stress. Not bringing in enough money. So if you're not really making much of a profit, your profit margins are pretty low, that can cause financial stress. Because raise your hand if you're doing business to make no money. Raise your hand, nice and high if you're in business because you don't want to make money. Okay, so I'm just raising my hand just for an example, but that's not me. Okay, so if you're in business and you're not making money, or you're making money, but it's not really doing much for you, that can be a financial stress. Because then you have to think, oh my gosh, when am I going to start making money? How is it, you know, and all that stuff. So that can be pretty stressful. A disaster in your business. We've talked about this last month with disaster preparedness. So things like your computer breaking down, it makes you want to cry, right? Losing a major contract. If you're in a situation where you rely on different contracts, you know that these people are going to pay you a certain amount of money, but you lose that can be devastating to your business. Theft. If someone breaks in and steals your equipment, whether it's in your car or in your office or wherever, or online theft. We talked about that last month as well. So also health challenges, you know, if you have an assistant that's sick, or you yourself are not feeling well, what have you, that's a disaster that can really impact your business and cause you financial stress. And then there are other disasters that can come up, right? Exterior events, such as, you know, you have a baby. I know that won't fit in with Ryan or Bill, but you know, you know, if you have a baby, or a spouse is ill, or a mom or someone else that is not a part of your business, but some external factor is affecting your ability to make money in your business, then that can cause financial stress. And the last one that I want to mention, and there's probably some more, is high debt. You know, a lot of us, when we run our business, we rely on debt for certain things. And the last talk that I gave was about how to run a debt-free business. But let's face it, a lot of times we do have to have some sort of debt in order to accomplish certain things. However, too much debt can be financially stressful, because if you're not able to pay off that debt, then you're just in a really tight situation. And, you know, you might be just one check away from being broke, you know, and having to close up shop. So all of those are things that cause financial stress. Now, what are the signs of financial stress? There are different signs. Financial stress can manifest itself physically and emotionally. I mean, I think that a lot of people don't even realize that it can have this effect, but it can cause like headaches, high blood pressure. It could cause weight gain, weight loss. I mean, I need some financial stress because I need to lose some weight. But anyway, it can cause like all of these things. And sometimes we don't even attribute it to it, right? Depression, you know, we know, I think we're all aware that there have been so many stories of people who have done horrible things to themselves because of losing money. So financial stress can be manifested in those ways. So, and as far as mental effects, it can affect our ability to make wise choices with our money, with our business. You know, we will operate on a level of scarcity as opposed to abundance, and knowing that you can do it and you can, you know, everything's going to be okay. Instead, because you're kind of desperate or something like that, it really affects the decisions that you make in your business. Now, how to reduce your financial stress. So there are several ways, and I have just written down a few of those ways that I felt were pertinent and practical. The first one is improve your money management skills. I know that may seem a little bit obvious to some, but maybe not to others. But just by improving your money management skills, you can really take off a lot of financial stress. And these are some ways that you can do that. Number one, having a budget for your business and actually sticking with it. And that can be challenging, especially when, you know, things come up that you really don't expect in your business. It can really like knock you off your feet. But part of budgeting is also keeping in mind those what ifs and making sure that you have a slot prepared for those. Also, having more cash. So whenever you have a great month or a great year or a great day, making sure that you're saving more, putting aside more of that money instead of just splurging, thinking about, hey, this is gonna be a cushioning for later on. So making sure that you're able to have some cash reserve there. And sometimes that looks like cutting out some things, you know, maybe not having your assistant work as, maybe canceling subscriptions that you normally use, you know, for your business, but you could probably do without. I know I have a membership that, you know, I've been thinking, you know what, I probably should just cut this out because I'm not really utilizing it well. And I feel like I always want to be a good steward of my money. So I'm like, oh, I hate to go. I really want to be in the group, but I'm not really utilizing it to the fullest. And I could really use that cash. So things like that, you can think about, trim the fat a little bit and use that money to store up so that you can have a cushioning. We saw that with the recent pandemic, so many small businesses closed, you know, and for me, that's really, really sad because we all know as small businesses how hard we work to start up, to get going, marketing, all that stuff. So to have to close is very heartbreaking. But a lot of times the reason why those businesses went down is because they did not have a cash reserve or they didn't have one big enough to sustain them in times of trouble. So that brings me to setting a goal to have to have an emergency fund. An emergency fund is very important when it comes to your business. Of course, working on a one-on-one basis with individuals, whether they own a business or not, I always recommend an emergency fund. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't have those for their businesses. And it's really, really important because you're not guaranteed to always make the amount of money that you're making right now. You're not guaranteed that you're going to be well enough. You're not guaranteed that your employees will do what they're supposed to do. There's no guarantees, right? So it's important to set an emergency fund goal and work towards achieving that. So whether it's 3 months of worth of a certain amount of money of earnings or 6 months or whatever it is, work your way up to it by saving every time when you have a windfall. That's an excellent way to just like store money away so that you can have that peace of mind and not experience that financial stress if there's a disaster or something else that comes up. And then another way to reduce your financial stress is by outsourcing money tasks. I know that, you know, a lot of people may see this as, oh, but I'll be spending more money. But spending money is not necessarily what causes financial stress. Sometimes it can, if you're overspending, yes. But sometimes that's not really the reason why you're experiencing financial stress. But sometimes you need help. You know, sometimes just being the one to look at all the books yourself while you're trying to manage 50 other different things causes financial stress. Sometimes you need to find an accountant. Sometimes you need to find a bookkeeper, you know, or what have you, whatever they are, to be able to help you so that you can see what's going on clearly without you actually having to do everything, all the time. And also they can catch a problem that maybe you would have missed because you're doing so many things. And then if they catch the problem ahead of time, then you can solve it without feeling financial stress, or maybe not that level of financial stress that you would feel had you not caught it early. So that's why I because I really believe in outsourcing as much as possible, because honestly, as a business owner, when you're doing everything yourself, that in of itself can be super stressful, depending on what you do. I mean, maybe you do something that's not really stressful at all. But for me personally, I've noticed that the more I get other people to do, the less stress I feel. And when it comes to financial stress, it's no different. Like, you just really want to not have to do everything yourself and have eyes that are trained to see what's going on with your finances, so that they can tell you ahead of time, hey, look, we're going close to that red line. What can you do to scale back? Because, you don't want to go that far. So the final one that I have is, the other thing about hiring someone is that you can, if you hire a financial professional to help you sort out your finances and see where you are, and you guys communicate, you have charts, you have apps or whatever, then it gives you that peace of mind, because it's not that you're just going to give away everything to them and not know anything that's going on. I really don't believe in that, and I wouldn't feel comfortable with that. But it's just that you have a way of having it organized for you so that you can easily access it without the drudgery of having to do all the steps. So hopefully that was clear enough. There's more that I could say about that, but I don't want to go over time. And then the last step, or the last tip that I would recommend, is changing your mindset. Because if you look at your current situation, so if you're in a financially stressful situation and you kind of get that, woe is me, I suck at business, I'm really just not good at this, I'm not cut out for this, maybe I should go work at Wendy's, and all of that, and you just kind of get in that mindset, then it makes it harder for you to come out of it and figure out a solution to your problem. So it's important to be solution focused in order to relieve that financial stress. Look at the situation that you're in, whether it's too much debt, too many expenses, whatever it is, look at it objectively and realize that it's not the be all end all. It's not the end of life. Figure out what can you do, what steps can you take to rectify the problem. And if you need help, obviously reach out. But sometimes it's just a matter of sitting with yourself and looking at the information in front of you and figuring things out. But definitely you don't want to start going down that rabbit hole of, oh man, I should have listened to my mother. I should have done, and just like, this business stinks. I'm not going to do this anymore. And it just, so mindset really, I tell people that all the time. Your mindset can really change your situation, because that's where it starts. Because then you think, okay, this is not too big. I can figure this out. I need some time, but I can figure this out. And then you can find solutions. And start to think. So this has been helpful to you. Let me know what you think, what resonated with you, or if there's something else that you're thinking of that could be a great way to alleviate financial stress. I know I didn't cover the full gamut because we have a 15-minute talk. So yeah, go ahead and unmute and think.
Presentation and presented some really, really good information. My question for you is, what are some of the most common expenses that businesses have that aren't necessary?
Oh, oh, that is a very good question. I mentioned one. And they're not part of an organization where you feel like they're like-minded people, but are in a crunch, or you're in a situation where it might be too tight, or you don't have an emergency fund, then you might want to back away from that. That's one of those things. So that maybe they were a one-off, so you probably needed it for a project, but then you just kept it, so then you're paying every month for it. It's best to just cut it off. When So that's another one. And let's see, another one that may not be as necessary. I think, it just depends on the industry